Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. We'll give you our usual routine here on Mondays. We'll run through the week in the NFL, give you some picks for next week, and talk about the other big stories in sports over some packs of cards. We'll get to the World Series later. I know it's a couple of days later, but man, talk about a good Game 7 there.
Talk about a classic series in general.
Yeah. You had the 18-inning game. You know, the Game 6 was a nail biter. It was one of the better World Series I can remember. I'm not going to say it was like the best or it's like the third, but it's up there for me in terms of my lifetime.
Yeah, it was one for the all-time greats.
Do more about that later, of course. We will talk everything that happened in the NFL and what we think is coming up this week. We'll each give our 3 picks. Somebody went 3-0. We'll find out who later, but it wasn't me in their picks last week. So that was a first-time occurrence, which was really nice. Also, we'll talk a little NHL. Let's just get to the pack ripping line, but we know what's coming up here. So I've got some 2024 Prestige, Panini Prestige football there. You know, the typical rookies of that class. Bo Nix leading the game-winning drive yesterday. Brock Bowers had a touchdown. Caleb Williams was in a wild one. Jaden Daniels, that arm is not supposed to bend that way. And he's done for a bit. Those are the rookies there. Then we'll talk a little baseball to put a wrap on the baseball season until we get some big winter meeting news with some Topps 1999 Series 2 baseball there. No real rookies there, as you can see on the screen. Like, you'd have like one decent one, like an AJ Burnett or a Brad Lidge that's paired with like a bunch of nobodies, like on a multi-prospect card. But should be some good-looking cards there. And then, Jared, you got some hockey you're bringing today.
Yeah, we're going old school with the hockey, and it doesn't get much more old school than this. 1991 Topps Stadium Club cards. I love what you put there for the rookies. It's like, does Brian Marchman do anything for you? I mean, come on. So, it's the images are high quality. Apparently, I haven't seen the cards yet, so it's been a long time since I ripped one of these packs. So, very curious to see how they look, but. That's what we have today on the old docket.
So the 91 Stadium Club, I actually built that set. Like, one of the things that actually kind of got me back into wanting to do cards again was randomly one day on Facebook Marketplace, I saw a guy selling 2 boxes of that for $40. I was like, okay, why not?
You can get the cards dirt cheap. I mean, these cards cost me $2 a pack. So
yeah, so I was like, why not? Let's build a set. Let's have a little fun to kill time. And I meant to get the binder out. It's somewhere in the closet, but we have that there. Now, before we get to the leadoff pack here, you know, I was going through trying to clean up some space in my office, clear some stuff out, because I'm going to do like a small, I want to repaint, I want to do new carpeting, all that stuff. So trying to clear some stuff out. And found some random lots I had purchased off eBay. One a Brian Leach and one a Sean Kemp. Now, I know we're looking for that Barry Sanders card where it's like, he was once an unheralded Pac-Man champion or something like that. Found something similar in one of my Brian Leach lots here. Now, Jared, have you ever found yourself asking, what does Dennis Leary think of a hockey player's ability? I mean, you've had to ask yourself that at least a few times.
I can't say that I have. I would imagine Dennis Leary, is he... I'm going to ask a really stupid question right now because I don't watch a lot of TV. Is he a Boston guy, or did he just play one on TV?
He's both.
Okay.
And he's a big hockey fan. Like, he's a legit hockey fan. Like, he always has been. So in 1995, Upper Deck decided to have a insert set series called Dennis Leary on, fill in the player name, Brian Leach here. Now look at this. Like, Brian Leach looks like he's like a junior in high school trying to like look cool for like the school dance, and that fit right there. Let's start with that before we even get into the Dennis Leary. Like, what do we, Brian?
I think my older brother had the same T-shirt.
Now, here's the thing. This is a 1995 Upper Deck card. So this is peak Leach. This is your fresh off the cup run, Conn Smythe. Maybe that picture's taken before that. You're playing in New York. You're the second, third best player on that team. You could afford it. Something a little better than that, my man. Come on now. I know you're humble. Come on.
And, I mean, the font choices on that card. I mean, nothing screams mid-90s more than that card right there.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, he's a happy man right there. Now on the back,
I mean, the only way to be more mid-90s is if he had like a wallet chain.
Oh yeah, and maybe if it was like a pair of Jenkos, maybe a pro athlete couldn't get away with wearing those, but you never know. I mean, he does. I'm not gonna read what he said on the back because like he goes. It's basically like, what can I say about the guy, and like just like rattles off like everything he's done. Like, wish he was a Bruin kind of thing. Like, so you got a guy like Dennis Leary that was usually coked up at the time, like just actually saying nice things about this guy. So
what's funny is I feel like the Jenkos would have been popular among the hockey players because the hockey players have such like thick like quads and whatnot, and like they have a hard time finding like pants that fit normally, and the Jenkos are obviously very famous for being
that
large.
stovepipe kind of, yeah. It gives you those big legs room to breathe a little bit. That's not right on top of your skin. So that's one of the cards I found, the Brian Leach right there. Now, Sean Kempblad was just, going through it, trying to clean it up. And this is another, what I think, a 95 upper deck. I got to be honest with you, my man. I'm going to have to go get glasses soon. Like, reading is not my up close, is not doing well for me right now.
Dude. I am getting there. I was having trouble the other day with something on my phone.
Yeah, it's like, and like if you said first it was like late at night, like, oh, it's just late at night, my eyes are tired. And like, no, now it's happening at like 10 in the morning. That can't be right.
No. I was trying to watch the Devils game on my phone the other night, and I was having a hard time like reading like anytime there was like the score in the score bug in the top corner or like any graphics on the bottom, I was having a tough time reading it.
You'd probably guess by looking at it, so you could definitely tell we were born in the 80s just based on the last 60 seconds of conversation right there. But we have a Sean Kemp pictured as Santa Claus here. It's a good thing he's doing. He's bringing toys to a hospital for kids, so good for him. But like, not the Sean Kemp card you may be hoping to pull when you rip a pack of like 95 upper deck,
No, not quite.
Now, this actually leads me to something else I wanted to discuss because I saw this going around online this weekend. There's a lot of for the holiday baseball cards that we like here. They actually
those are coming up soon.
The number that I don't know if it's going to be in these packs or it's what set it's in, but I've seen multiple posts about guys, baseball players, prominent baseball players, current ones, in Santa caps, number to 10. And what they do is, the white frilly border part, or like on the Santa cap, they are cutting that out and using that as the memorabilia. Like, you just came off of the game used merch probably isn't from the team, game, or player that's, pictured on the card. Now we're going to come on now. Like, what are we doing? I know that wasn't Topps that did that, but that just happened as like an industry thing. Like, no wonder why when you go to Rite Aid, you can't buy Santa hats because freaking Topps is buying all them up and putting them in cards.
This feels like I'm going to assign blame to this to someone who may be blameless on this. This feels like the latest grift by the sports monopoly known as Fanatics. And I say that because this is the same company now that if you go on their website, you can see like vintage T-shirts and jackets and hats from like the 90s and early 2000s, and they're reselling those now. Apparently, I don't know if you saw that, but
wait, so like vintage, like they were used, or just the vintage look?
No, like they were used, like pre-owned.
Oh, so they're getting into like basically thrift shop.
So like if you want to go and buy, like if you want to get like a Yankees World Series T-shirt from 1998. Like the actual T-shirt, they might have it on their website. You can go and look for it. Now you'll pay an arm and a leg for it. It'll cost you like $80 or whatever it'll cost.
I think I got a couple of those in my drawer. Maybe Fanatics wants to buy them off of me. We're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean that's that's one way of looking at it. Is maybe you could profit a little bit. Downsize your collection. Like it's funny. Like I've been looking at this video game collection behind me right now, and I'm just thinking like it might be time to downsize this a little bit. So we all got to do what we got to do in the year 2020, 2025, right?
Oh, dude, I got it, but I spent a little time recently taking pictures of loose starting lineups that I'm selling and like more of the box ones I'm selling. I got to get that claim sale going. Yeah, hey, listen, holidays are here. We are in November. Holidays are here, my man. So yeah, we'll I got no. Listen, I'm going to be selling some of that stuff too, and then that's the next. Like as I'm going through my cards here, that's the other thing is like trying to figure out like, all right, what can I bring to a shop that you're going to give me whatever for that I'm just going to turn around and use in your store 2 minutes later anyway. So
that's the thing. Yeah, like I got like all these boxes right behind me, or they're full of the cards that like we've ripped on the show, and it's just like I don't even know where to take it to get rid of it, and like I'm not even looking to like make money off it. Like I'm just looking to like. All right, just give me like $100 or whatever for whatever's here, and you can just move on.
Yeah, I'm taking it a step further. I'm separating stuff that I know has no value whatsoever, just like base cards of nobody you heard of or anything like that. And I'm going to try and either donate them to the local card shops because they make like packs of free cards that they just leave on the windowsill for kids to take of randoms. But if that he's like, no, this is too much, you go to like your local Goodwill or stuff and donate it. They'll do something with it. And then once I have everything separated that I want to keep or want to sell, then I'll worry about that aspect then. But speaking of cards, it's time to start ripping some cards. I think we got to get to our leadoff pack. All right, we bring Sean Kemp and the West Coast Rip Cam back. Let's get him and dorky Brian Leach out of there. Like Brian Leach was a hell of a hockey player and he was respected around the league. But man, like that guy, and he's one of my favorite athletes of all time. He's a bit of a dork.
That is what it is.
Sorry, bro. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Let's start on this side here. So it's a pretty basic look for this line here. Very white and gray. We start with an Austin Eckler, one of the first guys to be done for the year in 2025 there with the Commanders. All right, we can just talk. The Commander season's over, right? Like Jaden Daniels, that arm injury. There's no point in bringing him back this year, even if he can come back for like the last few games. Their season's over.
Well, they weren't that great like before this, and I know
Correct.
Jaden Daniels had missed a few games, but they feel like the classic team that like they have the big unexpected year out of nowhere last year. They kind of load up, but like regression hits all of a sudden. They deal with a million injuries, and now you look at the standings, and they're 3-6. They're barely in front of the Giants. Like, I mean, obviously this is Philly's division to lose at this point, but yeah, it looks like it's over for the Commanders this year. So at this point, they're probably better off just taking their lumps. Get like a top 10-ish draft pick and get their quarterback healthy and try again in 2026.
The Commanders also won a lot of like close games or they got the ball bounced their way a lot last year, and that's not
right. And that's tough to replicate year to year. Is winning those one possession games.
I mean, people, the Bears were winning that game before that Hail Mary, and both of those teams' seasons turned in that game essentially the other way. So yeah, NFC East is all for the Eagles at this point. I don't see Dallas making a push, and obviously the Giants without Scadaboo, it's tough to make that argument. Got DeAndre Hopkins pictured with the Titans there, now with the Ravens. Yeah, NFC North's going to be, the Ravens and the Steelers, I think, meet twice in the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season. That's pretty much going to decide the North.
I mean, the Ravens are set up to go on a run here, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm still a little skeptical that they're not going to trip over their own 2 feet at some point, like given some of the games they've already lost this year.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bengals defense is atrocious. The Browns offense is atrocious. Pittsburgh I think they're a playoff team, but they're also inconsistent. You can't
I mean, they did a good job getting they did a good job getting that win yesterday over the Colts.
So, but then they're the same team that okay, they beat a red hot Colts team at home that was maybe due for a loss. They could go out and beat the Chargers, or they could go out and lay an egg against the Chargers. Like, you don't know what you're getting with them week to week. So I get, with the Ravens, at least the schedule is Jamal Lewis, one of the all-time fantasy greats there. I think the Ravens, the way the schedule is set up, it really is just going to come down to those 2 Steeler games, because I can't see Baltimore really losing. I think they have a game against Green Bay, which you don't want to talk about inconsistent. There's another one right there. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Baltimore's set to go up on a run. The Buccaneers recently wore this look against the Seahawks. There we go. Little Vinny Testaverde. Sad to say, one of the last good Jets quarterbacks. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's the lineage of Jets quarterbacks for you. I mean, at least the Jets didn't lose this week, even though the bye was favored.
Yeah, the bye was favored. The Jets hold it. If you made a Mount Rushmore of Jets quarterbacks, Vinny Testaverde might be on there.
All right, we could do this real quick.
So obviously Joe Namath.
Obviously Joe Namath.
I think you have to put Richard Todd in there. I know they didn't go for, but I feel like that's the thing. After that, it's okay, Chad Pennington, Vinny Testaverde.
I'd probably put Chad Pennington on there.
Pennington for sure, because he was that was the last era of Jets football that was like year to year. You had good feelings going into a season. You had hope.
All right, I'm gonna ask a really dumb question right now.
Yeah,
this is all I've been doing today is asking dumb questions.
I like it.
Doesn't Mark Sanchez have to be on the Mount Rushmore? I mean, he won 4 playoff games in 2 years.
I was thinking about that, and that's the thing. Like, are you going to put Ken O'Brien on there? No. Yeah, I think you might have to put Mark Sanchez on there. I can't believe we're having this conversation right now. Let me pull. I'm pulling up the franchise encyclopedia. Let's get career leaders and passing in front of us. Like, we're not putting Boomer Esiason up there. He wasn't long enough. All right, so Joe Namath, Ken O'Brien, Richard Todd, Chad Pennington, Vinny Testaverde, Mark Sanchez. Those are your candidates, because you know who. After that, so those are your top 6 in career passing for the Jets. After that, Boomer Esiason, Sam Darnold, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Zach Wilson, and Geno Smith. Those are your top 11 in passing history for the Jets.
Oh my God. I mean, it just illustrates how pathetic the Jets' history is when it comes to franchise quarterbacks. But
Brett Favre played 1 season there, and he's good for 17th all time on the Jets' career passing list.
Right, and like Rodgers is probably like right around that same area, even though
he's right above him.
Yeah, even though he played like 17 games.
Neil O'Donnell right above him if you want to start getting more blasts from the past.
I know it's a Mount Rushmore. Do we just do Namath's face 4 times?
I mean, you could do different Namath looks. You could do like long hair Namath, short hair Namath.
That might be Namath on like the beach chair, like lying back when he's talking to reporters. That famous photo.
Namath in the fur coat. There you go. You got your 4. Perfect. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a better use of the granite and rock than Mark Sanchez.
Like, yes, Ken O'Brien threw for 24,000 yards, and if we're going to be serious about it, it would probably be Namath, O'Brien, Pennington, and then Richard Todd, Vinny Testaverde, Mark Sanchez would have to be your 4th. Let's move on. This is sad. This is the Jets bye week. I'm not supposed to be getting upset about them. Chris Godwin. I can't stay on the field this year, but Buccaneers Patriots this week. Looking forward to that one very much. That should be a real entertaining one. A couple of back-to-back Seahawks here. Richard Sherman, part of the Legion of Boom. Seahawks looking sharp, both aesthetically and on the field yesterday.
Yeah, and speaking of Sam Darnold, I mean, just another really good performance from him. I mean, I know he's impossible to trust. Like, you saw it late last year with Darnold where, he reverted back into Jets Sam Darnold the last couple of weeks of the season. And I feel like that's going to happen again at some point with the Seahawks. But, like, I mean, the guy's playing well. It kind of is what it is. Like, at some point, like, this is who he is, right?
And the thing is, the situations are kind of similar if you really look at it. Like, okay, the Vikings had a really good defense. Seahawks have a really good defense. You have Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, one of the top receivers in the league. Jackson Smith and Jigba, one of the, if not the top receiver in the NFL this year. So there's there's some parallels there. But I think Seattle's better set up. I mean, the fact that the Seahawks just have no problem winning on the road under Mike McDonald is another thing too. What is he, 11-1 on the road or something like that? DK Metcalf. Another he's with the Steelers now, but another Seahawk there. Yeah, I mean that NFC West. I mean, like the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Niners. Like anytime those teams meet the rest of the way, that's going to be must-see TV.
I will say this card's throwing me off with the font script at the top, D, and then a big old K, and then Metcalf. It just looks weird the way they did it there.
Yeah, they needed to make the D and the K like maybe one size smaller to like balance it out a little bit. Speaking of the NFC West and the Niners, there's Joe Montana, one of the all-time greats. They get a nice win over the Giants yesterday. No sweat, no frills kind of victory. Just took care of business.
Yeah, that game really. I don't want to say aggravated me as a Giants fan. I mean, I feel like that game turned early in the game when the Giants were up 7-0, and then the Niners didn't get called for a blatant false start on that 4th and 1. And they converted it, and that really, really pissed me off because, of course, they go and they convert that, and they march down the field a touchdown. At the end of the day, I don't think that play matters all that much because the Niners were able to kind of move the ball at will against the Giants, and I think it just speaks to the talent disparity on the rosters. I mean, the Giants, Their defense isn't very good, and they're just missing so many pieces on offense now, especially with Scatabo and Neighbors both on the shelf for the year. So it just kind of is what it is at this point.
I do have a lean on that upcoming Giants-Bears game. We'll share that when we get to our pick segment. Let's stay in the NFC West here. We got Byron Young, Brian Young from the Rams, one of the top defensive players in the league right now, and a guy you can make an argument for the MVP, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, you certainly can. And shout out to his good old buddy Clayton Kershaw as well. I guess Mrs. Stafford and the kids were in Toronto in the Kershaw luxury suite for Game 7 there. So that's a pretty cool experience there, since obviously those two families are close.
I see a hybrid Stafford Kershaw podcast, LA based in the future, like those two getting together and doing one.
I mean, that could be fun, right?
Yeah. In LA, especially, you'd have access to all the celebrities, and obviously there's a lot of celebrity, fans of both teams. So yeah, that reach out. I've got ideas. I know how to produce it. We got Martin Emerson here with the Cleveland Browns wearing those all white look, which I don't like the all white look on most teams, but with the Cleveland Browns, it actually kind of looks sharp. See here, we got Jarrett Stidham pictured with the Broncos. They get another close one yesterday on the road in Houston. The Panthers, the Green Bay Packers, they play up and down to whoever they're playing. It seems like the Browns and the Panthers they lose to, the Cowboys they tie, but then they go on the road and beat the Steelers without really any problems. So good for the Panthers, but the Packers, it's really tough to trust them.
Yeah, every time you want to go ahead and trust the Packers, they go and they lay an egg like this, and they let Rico Dowdle of all people run all over them. I guess Rico Dowdle is now the feature back in Carolina, so much for Chuba Hubbard. I mean, it's good news for me. I have Rico Dowdle in the league, so I'm not complaining, but that was certainly unexpected.
Yeah, and we'll see how Green Bay probably bounces back next week. Who do they have next week? They got the Eagles on Monday Night Football, so that is
maybe
not
not
going to be easy.
Maybe Green Bay has to show they could beat Philly, and that's something that they weren't able to do last year. The couple times they met,
and Philly's coming off the bye, so they've had time to rest up and get ready. Let's see.
And also, if you remember, Green Bay is the team that was willing to put their name on the whole "we want to ban the tush push" thing.
Yep. So they're going to prove it.
They became the public face of that. Philly hasn't forgotten that. I can guarantee you that they're going to run the tush push like a dozen times against Green Bay just to make a point if they can.
They'll probably run it in a situation where they don't have to or should, but just like you said, to prove a point, to kind of thumb their nose. They're gonna
like when Joe Judge ran the quarterback sneak on 3rd and 8 from their own 15-yard line or whatever that was.
Yeah, something like that. Just to we got James Conner here with the Cardinals. They're playing on Monday Night Football tonight. I think that'll be a high-scoring affair. We got Chase Brown with the Cincinnati Bengals. Talk about that Bengals Browns game. I mean, if you like offense, that's where you go. If you like defense, change your channel.
Yeah, 100%. I can't believe they score as many points with Flacco to do. I mean, Flacco's smart enough to just throw it up to Chase and Higgins, and in a lot of ways, it's a fantasy cheat code, and which is frustrating in the sense that the Bengals are on the bye this upcoming week.
Yes, but I mean, listen, Flacco. I don't know who was talking about or where I heard it from, but there's an argument that Flacco's going to come back next year. If I'm a team, he's got to be a backup somewhere, going into the season, not or maybe he prefers to wait it out and choose his opportunity. But he could play again next year if he wants.
I'm not convinced that Flacco is not one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the NFL. He probably should be a starter somewhere, if we're being honest.
That's the thing. If I understand the situations okay, young guys got to develop all that. But if you went through the 32 NFL teams starting quarterback situations, we're not going to do that. But I would say there's probably at least 5 or 6 teams would be yeah, give me Joe Flacco right now. Absolutely.
Right. Joe Flacco is better than Geno Smith right now. The Raiders would take Joe Flacco, I think.
For sure.
And that's just one team. I'm sure we can come up with others. The Dolphins would take Joe Flacco over Tua Tagovailoa right now, the way Tua is playing.
By the way, Geno, 11th all time on Jets passing career list. I still had it open just in case you were here. We got Hayden Hurst here with the Panthers. Talked about them a little bit. I still don't. Listen, the NFC South is Tampa Bay's to lose, and Atlanta's inconsistent. Carolina's they're going to be that team that somehow finishes 8-9, but it's not a good 8-9. I don't know. Just I'm not ready to buy into them yet. Speaking about the Raiders, there's Marcus Allen. Shout out Steve Cohen. Also, Michael Mayer getting back in the mix. Not something a lot of us predicted this year with the presence of Brock Bowers, but he's been a little active lately.
And by the way, it goes no to Carolina. They're sitting at 5-4 right now. They got the Saints this week, so that should be a winnable game. They still have the Saints twice, and twice in the last 3 weeks they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they're not going to beat Tampa Bay, but yeah, like you were saying, like that they have the feel of that 8-8, 9-8 type of team where they just miss out, and it's probably going to be because they can't beat an actual good team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Although who knows? Like they beat Green Bay yesterday. Like they've beaten. What else did they beat?
They smacked the Falcons at home earlier this year.
Yeah, I mean, so they could certainly beat the Falcons again. They haven't beaten a lot of good teams. They beat the Jets, they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Cowboys. So
I know they've still got like a couple of NFC West teams on the schedule for them. So
they got the Niners and the Rams, and
Seahawks.
They have Seattle late in the season.
So there's probably 3 losses for sure too. Yesterday, Bills Chiefs. You got a little Jan Stenerud there. Shout out Mad Dog and George Karlaftis, one of my favorite IDP players. The guy just produces every week at the edge position. Shout out Georgie.
Yeah, and shout out Dog. I got to listen to some of his Saturday show while I was driving my poker game.
Nice. Obviously, that was the game of the day, and the thing I keep hearing is the Bills had to really be at their best to win, whereas the Chiefs weren't at their best or even close to it and only lost by a touchdown, and the game seemed to mean more to Buffalo and all that stuff. I don't know if they meet again in the postseason, I think the stadium of the game occurs and matters a lot. That's my response to that.
I do think that matters. I don't think Mahomes really played all that well. And I'm looking at the box score now, 15-34. That one interception was a really underthrown ball. The Chiefs still don't have a running game to speak of. I know they got Rashee Rice back, and he certainly adds to that offense, but Kelsey's not the same player. Xavier Worthy's too inconsistent week to week. I mean, like the Chiefs were giving Clyde Edwards-Helaire carries in 2025. Like, what are we doing here? So if the Bills can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs this year, it's never going to happen.
Agreed. And maybe they avoid them somehow. This is what I'll say about the Chiefs. They still got 2 games against Denver, one more against the Chargers. I think that, the AFC West is tough. You can make an argument that all 3 of those teams are going to find their way into the playoffs. At some point, all this football that Kansas City's playing every year, like we talked about it in hockey, like, a team like the Florida Panthers, where you keep making these deep playoff runs, 20+ games year in and year out, where you're playing another quarter of a season, essentially. Eventually that adds up, that catches up with you. It's got to happen to Kansas City at some point, and maybe that's what you're seeing. But then again, maybe they're just, they're pulling like a Golden State Warriors, we just got to get to the playoffs, and we know to turn it on then and there kind of thing.
I mean, I guess, but like they already have 4 losses. You mentioned the 2 Broncos games. You mentioned the Chargers game, who they've already lost to the Chargers in week 1. They have the Colts on the schedule. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game. The Colts have been playing well. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy for the Chiefs. I mean, they might only win. They might go 10-7, and they might have to settle for a wild card. I'm not sure if 10-7 probably will be good enough to get in the playoffs, but I don't think that is with a certainty.
Chiefs need to. I'm not going to say they need to be at home to win in the playoffs in advance, but they do get a nice boost at Arrowhead.
No, they do, but like you're not getting home games if you're going to be the.
You got to win the division. That's going to be the Chiefs' only path to really go deep. They're probably not going to be getting the bye. You're probably looking at Buffalo for that, maybe Indianapolis, but they need to be home in the first round to at least get that first win. Then the chips fall, they fall after that. But
right, and they're already 2 games behind the Broncos, and they're a game behind the Chargers, and the Chargers have the tiebreaker.
So they meet later on the season, so we'll see. Maybe that swings back the other way. Speaking of Rashee Rice, there's an extra points little insert set there. Nice refractor there. Who else we got here? We got some rookies coming up here. Got Michael Penix Jr. They recently acquired from you in one of our dynasty leagues, Theo Johnson.
Yeah, of course I traded him, and now he's become like a focal point of their offense now that everybody's hurt. So it kind of is what it is.
Very happy. Now I'm like loaded at tight. Not loaded, but now I have a lot of options at tight end, but that's fine because it's such a volatile position. I'm happy to just play the best matchup each week. We got another Rams rookie here, Brandon Fiske, defensive tackle there. We got Roman Wilson, Steelers receiver. We got another former Penn State player here, and Chop Robinson, another one of those extra points refractors. There's some nice cards. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got, you'll love getting a reminder of this one. Any given Sunday when Tommy DeVito led the Giants to a 10-7 victory over the Patriots. I mean, I know that one's just, you can recall every detail of that game right off the top of your head. It's such a memorable victory.
Yeah, including when his Tony Soprano wannabe agent went out to the Pinelands afterwards. Yeah, I can recall every detail.
November 26, 2023. It's the anniversary, the 2-year anniversary that's coming up in a few weeks. What are you going to do to commemorate?
Nothing.
There you go.
I will do nothing.
What else we got here? We got Brock Purdy, 113.0 passer rating in 2023 for the record insert there. You know, with the way Mac Jones is playing, and I know Purdy's coming back, and I know Shanahan said they're using him in practice a little bit to get him a little more active, little by little. I guess you have to go back to Purdy, but like, Mac Jones is like he's not doing anything.
You don't have to go back to Purdy.
Okay. All right.
Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy. Like, I mean, I know they're going to go back to Brock Purdy because they're paying him all this money, but like you watch the games and you watch the flow of the offense from one quarterback to the other. Like the offense has consistently been better this year with Mac Jones. I don't even think that's up for discussion.
And here's the thing, like Mac Jones with his time in New England, like I think you almost have to kind of throw some of that out with the way things were going with Belichick at the end, and it just wasn't a good thing. Now he's on a team. Think about this. Mac Jones is doing this with a lot of 49ers banged up every week. They're missing key players. They haven't seen Brandon Ayuk yet this season. You know, yeah. Kittle just came back recently. Jawan Jennings, this week he's in, next week he's out. Like,
right.
And he's still doing it
out. Yeah. So.
And if I recall that draft, that was the guy that Shanahan wanted, and they couldn't make it happen. That was the guy he had wanted. So now he gets him. We've got alma maters here. We got Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and John Mechie III, all Alabama products there. See if John Mechie III can get some burn for the Jets, recently acquired from the Eagles there. I mean, frankly, the door is open for him to take an opportunity. It's not, outside of Garrett Wilson.
I mean, the door is open. I feel like if it were going to happen for him, it would have happened at one of his previous stops already. I think there's a reason teams have given up on him, but I don't know. We shall see. I mean, when you're that thin at wide receiver, yeah, you'll take a shot on the John Mechie's of the world, I guess.
And then finally from the pack here, powerhouse Commanders, Bobby Wagner, but in the Seahawks jersey before he went over to Washington there. So there we go. So that was a good Kohl's pack. That was one of my last Kohl's pack purchases, and I can't find them anymore. So stuff there. That was a good one.
Nicely done.
Nicely done. I was happy with that pack. Now, why don't we get to a little World Series action here? We'll talk a little. Let's see here, Topps baseball. So, did you watch the game on Saturday? Were you playing? Were you out playing poker? What was the deal?
I was out playing poker. The game was on there. So I'm aware of what happened.
I'll be honest, hockey was on for a while, and then I saw the way the game was starting to go. I'm like, no, now I have to go to baseball, and I'm glad I flipped over. So here we go. So we got one of the last, a guy played for one of the last last Expos teams, Marquise Grissom. There, picture with the Brewers though. Gold bordered cards here. Nothing wrong with that. They look sharp. Good pictures.
Can I bring up something that's a little weird?
Yeah.
I know Toronto is Canada's team in the sense that they're the only team Canada has. I think it's a little weird that like the Montreal Expos fans are rooting for the Blue Jays as hard as they are. Like, I get a big part of that is Vlad's on the team, and obviously Vlad Guerrero Sr. is an Expos legend. But like put it this way, like if the Yankees ever lost their team, you're not going to see me all of a sudden being like, well, so-and-so was on the Yankees and now he's on the Red Sox. I'm going to root for Boston. Like that would never happen here. Like if the Mets lost their team for whatever reason, their fans are never going to start rooting for the Yankees. They're not going to root for the Phillies. So like, I think it's a little weird that I guess apparently in Canada, this is acceptable. I view it similar to like the whole, how college football, some people like root for the conference in the SEC.
Oh yeah, no, I've never understood like, oh, you root for your like maybe if like it's a team that is just completely not close to being a rival and they're not a factor to you, but like an Alabama fan's never going to root for LSU or Auburn or like that. Like, it's just that's not how it is.
Right. So I think it's weird that like the Expos fans were rooting for the Blue Jays during the series. You may continue.
I guess, and listen, the obvious difference is the whole country only has one team. They only so like I get it, and it's been a long time. It's not like they just left. Like, and I know they were rivals to a degree, but one was an American League team, one was a National League team. I mean, hell, I don't think they really met besides exhibition play. I mean, the interleague play, I think started before the Expos went away, but it wasn't around very long after until when they moved. So, I mean, I remember Toronto and Montreal playing, but I don't remember that happening for too long. Yeah, I mean, listen, Blue Jays, there's no reason to think they won't be back next year, or at least be in the mix. Vlad Guerrero Jr., great postseason.
I will say right now, I would be betting every Blue Jays under next season.
Okay, all right. You think they were over their heads?
I feel like this is one of those years where like they just went on a magical run and like everything just broke right for them this time of year, and like just me being the betting guy I am, like I'm not betting on Vlad Guerrero having this type of October ever again. Like I'm not betting on Ernie Clement hitting 400 with like 30 base hits in playoffs. Like I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it.
All right, there you go. A little early baseball future when those start coming out down the line. We got a Marty Cordova Minnesota Twins card there. Second horizontal card in the pack. Jared loves those. 3 straight horizontal cards. Scott Spezio, that's a good looking shot with the A's. Let's see here. We got Jeff Shaw, Dodgers. So there you go, Dodgers. I mean, listen, there'll be other good teams in the NL, but like it's the Dodgers until it's somebody else, right? Like they just always find a way. I mean, on Halloween night, with the trick or treating and stuff, I live on a cul-de-sac, and like we just have all the neighbors just we got to put a few tables out. We all put our bowls out so that way instead of going door to door, everybody can just come by and hang out and whatever. And like my neighbor's asking, who do you think's going to win? Game 7. I'm like, it's Dodgers. Like, and I'm not a big baseball guy, but it's just their team that always seems to find a way. They always have the right guys. They make the right move. But it's Dodgers until further notice. No.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Dodgers are interesting in that because they spend all that money. Like I know there's a lot of randomness to baseball, but because the Dodgers have spent so much money on the players that they have and all the star talent that they have, they just raised the floor that high where like it's really tough to beat them in a 7-game series. And I think you saw that here where they could just throw Yamamoto like twice in a series, and and obviously he comes back in Game 7 as well, and he pitches 2 innings of relief or whatever he does to sort of seal the win there. Like Shohei Ohtani, who a lot of people consider to be the best player in the world, was their 4th starter in the series. Like they have Tyler Glass now, who's normally when he's on, he's really tough to hit. Like Blake Snell's won 2 Cy Youngs. That's just their rotation. And then you look at their lineup, and they had a lot of dead money in their lineup too. Like they spent a lot of money on guys like Michael Conforto, who couldn't play for him this time of year. They're going to turn around. They're going to spend that money on another big bat, and they're going to load up even more because that's what they do. And as a Yankee fan, I admire. I wish the Yankees were run that way. Like I wish the Yankees would go out and sign Kyle Tucker this offseason. I think there's a better chance the Dodgers go and do it.
And that's sad because it's like, at some point, like you think like a team like, all right, the Dodgers just keep going for it. They're like, nope, going hard. We're going to go harder this year. And yeah, it would be nice to see, not like the Yankees don't have similar resources or anything. We got Fernando Tatis, another horizontal card there. Let's see. We got Todd Stottlemyre pictured with the Diamondbacks' dad, Mel, longtime pitching coach with the Yankees. Joey Hamilton. There's a Blue Jay card for you right there. I love that old logo over the old Canadian maple there. It's sharp. Greg Jeffries looking like he's having a grand old time there with the Tigers. Very happy. Or the suns in his eyes, or a little bit of both.
No, somebody definitely told him a joke while they were taking the photo. Probably an inappropriate joke.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like not PG-13. Definitely rated R. Todd Hundley there with the Dodgers. And then we got 2 more to go here. Roberto Alomar there with Cleveland. And then now this one's a nice one. We got Sammy Sosa record numbers here. All-time leaders for most home runs in a month at that time was 20. So that's a nice little pull out of that pack to close it out.
Very nice pull out of that pack. And since you mentioned Sammy Sosa, I just want to mention real quick the Baseball Hall of Fame. I guess their contemporary committee or whatever they call it. There's so many damn committees now. It's tough to keep track of them all. But they announced the candidates for the Hall of Fame this year with the voting coming up next month. So listed among the candidates, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Can we write this wrong and put these two in the Hall of Fame? Like, what are we doing here?
It's been long enough. But the point proven. All right, let's do it. Like, no, they'll do the same thing they'll do with Pete Rose. They're gonna wait for them to die and then do it. That's a shitty thing to do. Like, I will say this, at least for Barry Bonds, and I can say this having been a resident of the Bay Area for 9+ years now, he is like, he may never get the national recognition, but that guy can do what he wants in the San Francisco area. Like, he is so loved here. So I guess he's got that at least. But
as he should be. He's their greatest living ball player. People will get mad when I say that, but I don't care.
Who else you make for living Giants? Who are you gonna make? Buster Posey.
Certainly among Giants. Yeah, I guess Buster Posey would be in the mix.
Outside of that, there's guys that were very good, but nobody that was hitting home runs like him, regardless of how it was done.
Yeah.
There we go. A little baseball there. We'll get to our football picks here to wrap up the show in a little bit, but now time for Jared to take us to the ice here. We're about 1 month into the season. Devils had a strong winning streak there for a bit. Cooled off. The West Coast cooled them off a little bit. It was a little surprising. They had the rough loss with Colorado, and then the Sharks beat the Kings, and then lose I didn't think they would beat the Ducks after playing the Kings the night before. So at least they get some home cooking on the way back, I believe. They're done, or they got one more game on the road?
No, that was the last game on the road trip. They fly back, and they'll be home this week. I think they pick back up on Thursday or something. They got a few days off. They probably could use it. They played a lot. They played like 8 games in 13 days or something, and not really trying to make excuses for them, but
that's a lot of hockey.
It is a lot, especially when there's a West Coast road trip, comprising half of it. So,
and the thing too is, you take for granted, you go on a road trip in the East, okay, what's your longest flight? Most of your flights are going to be hour flights, Philly to Toronto, or
right, you fly to Montreal or Detroit, or
whereas out here, Colorado, Denver to San Jose, and then up to Seattle and stuff like that. Everything's spread out here a little bit.
Yeah, the travel's a bit much out there, so it kind of is what it is. All right, so we start with Paul McDermott. I believe Curtis McDermott, who's current enforcer in the league, is his son. So there you go.
I'm pretty sure that's Mike Richter pre-Liberty mask in that photo. It's a rookie.
You can get a better look there, but
I can't see the second number, but that would have been his rookie year. So
it looks like 30 though. So
see, there we go. And that was that classic Stadium Club look where they just had the Stadium Club logo and then a thin banner with the player's name and team, but it was all about the image of the Stadium Club, and that was across all sports.
Yeah, and speaking of image, like you said, these are high quality images considering the time. We have Mike Ramsey here with the Buffalo Sabres.
I mean, I remember going to hobby shops where it's all right, I'm going to spend a little extra today to get the Stadium Club. There was an actual Stadium Club you could enroll in where they sent you exclusive, cards and stuff like that. It was a big deal back then.
Yep. We have Stevie Yzerman, the Yzer plan in full force in Detroit. I still don't believe in the Yzer plan, but they are off to a good start. So credit there. If you look at the Eastern Conference standings, by the way, every team's got at least 13 points. It's sort of insane at this point.
The thing with Detroit is I feel like the blue line and their goaltending, even though Cam Talbot's playing well right now, is eventually going to undo everything they've done out of the gate in the first month.
Yep. Grant Ledyard here with the Sabres.
A lot of Sabres.
Yeah, Sabres heavy pack so far. Let's see. We have Brian Bradley here with the Leafs.
I like those Leafs jerseys. Those are sharp.
Dirk Graham here with the Blackhawks.
I have to see again, quality action shot there, getting right off a faceoff.
Let's see. We have the insert for the Sporting News subscription card. It is funny because they put little comic captions on here. You don't even know where to get the best sports coverage. Oh yeah, it's right on the back of the card, and then like all the info's on the back for it.
There is one of those in every pack of Stadium Club, like every pack. Like I
Yep.
had like a stack of them. I don't.
Let's see. The cards are sticking together just a little bit, so you have to bear with me. But we have Murray Barron here with the Flyers.
Another good shot there again. It was all about the good, and that was the thing. You didn't really get to see a lot of out of market stuff, especially hockey. So like sometimes this was your only window into seeing some of the Winnipeg Jets or whatever.
Yep, Bob Basson here with the Blues. Let's see. We have Michelle Pettit with the Leafs. This card's sticking together too with another one.
That'll happen with 34-year-old cards.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's part of the territory. Brad McCrimmon here with the Detroit Red Wings. Obviously, he's with the Golden Knights now in an executive role. Rob Ramage with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I always enjoy seeing like random coaches and GMs like from when they played like 40 years ago.
Yep, and here's a site that you haven't seen in a long time. Mark Messier with a full head of hair. Although, certainly fitting there at that point when he's back with the Oilers.
So the horseshoe pattern is taking its effect there to a degree, and I am not going to comment any more than that because I am very close to saying farewell to whatever follicles are left on my head and doing the full cue ball. That's coming sooner than later. Yeah. Look, what do I got left? I don't got much left. What am I doing? I keep it short anyway.
Yeah, just sort of hanging on at this point. All right, we'll go through the second pack really quickly. It's only 12 cards per pack here, so
I know the Stadium Clubs.
Yep. Let's see. We have ourselves newly minted Hockey Hall of Famer Alexander McGillney. Sort of love that he's not going to the ceremony. By the way, I know he announced he had like some other prior commitment, but I mean they also left him out of the Hockey Hall of Fame for a long time, so I don't mind if you kind of. I'm not saying he's thumbing his nose at the Hockey Hall of Fame, but if he is, I think it kind of rocks.
It's the equivalent of getting invited to a wedding like 2 weeks before. Like, okay, thanks, bud. Yeah, I can't make it that day. Sorry.
Let's see. We have Thomas Steen here with the Winnipeg Jets.
One of their franchise greats from the first stint in Winnipeg.
Let's see. Bob Probert with the Detroit Red Wings.
One of the best fighters of all time there, Bobby Probert.
Let's see. Ronnie Wilson here with the St. Louis Blues. Let's see. Craig Simpson here with the Oilers.
Current analyst, by the way. I want to say one of the Canadian networks there. I forget.
Mark Hunter with the Whalers. Once again, our little Sporting News insert card there. Robert Cron with the Canucks flying skate sweater there.
Which they've been wearing that a lot lately. Like I know they're not going to make the full-time switch, but it's nice to see it when they do it.
Let's see. Peter Zezel with the Leafs.
A lot of Leafs, a lot of Sabres.
Yeah, a lot of Leafs, a lot of Sabres. Eric Desjardins with the Montreal Canadiens.
One of the big goals in Stanley Cup history for them in 1993.
Bob Airey with the Penguins.
Penguins off to a very good start this year. I don't know how long it sustains, but they are. I mean, you're asking a lot from Malkin to play like this all year at his age, but they look good so far.
Yep. And last but not least, Pat LaFontaine here with the Islanders.
Great, Islander Sabre, great for both of them. Good pulls there. I'm going to show my pulls of the day real quick here. It would have to be down to the last two here. For me, it would be Sammy Sosa, Record Breakers, or the Rashi Rice extra points insert.
Yeah, I think it's Sammy Sosa there.
Yeah, I agree. This is from the year after the home run chase, so that's nice right there. That's a good looking card with the fireworks in the background and all that. So there we go. That's the pulls of the day. Now we got a little bit of time left here. We haven't given out our picks yet for week 10 in the NFL. We haven't even really looked yet, so we're going through this for the first time as well. You guys, let's check it out. So I went 1-2 last week. My Bears Bengals over 51.5 hit. Patriots did not cover the 5.5, and I did not get the over in Bills Chiefs. Jared, on the other hand, though, ding, 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 3-3. He's got the Broncos covering 1.5 on the road. At the Texans, the Bills plus 1.5 didn't need it, and the Seahawks -3. Oh boy, did they cover that one, no problem. So Jared, he has got the first 3-0 performance. So congrats, my man.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So shout out to I guess me for nailing those picks right there. So if you did tell me, A, you're an idiot, but B, you actually made a couple bucks this week.
And we don't claim to be. We're just here to look at the schedule and give a good look at it early in the week and see whatever we like here. Now, speaking of the week kicking off Thursday, November 6th, with the Raiders heading to Denver, coming off that. I get why Pete Carroll decided to go to 2 to win it, because what is a tie against the Jaguars really doing for you? Even if you're not going to the playoffs, you want to have some victories there. Denver's been also kind of getting a lot of close victories, a lot of late victories. At 9.5 is a big number to lay. 42.5 the total. I'm not touching that.
I'm not touching that either. And I know we're kind of doing this on the fly here. Do we want to just do our picks? Because I don't know if we're going to have time to go through the entire schedule.
Well, I'm looking through, so we're going to rattle through quick. Falcons, Colts Colts 5.5 total, 48.5 there. That game in Germany. Again, I don't trust it. I think the Colts win, but the Falcons tend to play teams close sometimes, so I'm not touching that one. What about you?
I'm not. I'm probably not going to touch that. I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm just going to let you go and preach through these.
All right. So, excuse me. Bills -9.5 favorites on the road, total 50.5. Patriots. Buccaneers 2.5 point favorites at home to the Patriots, so total 48.5. Ravens 3.5 point favorites at the Vikings, total 48.5. Bears 3.5 point favorites against the Giants at home, total 48.5. Jets 1.5 favorites at home to Cleveland, 36.5 total. That is going to be an ugly game. Carolina -5.5 total, 39.5. Jacksonville at Houston, Texans 1.5 home favorites there, total 30. Geez, a lot of 30 totals here, 37.5. Seahawks touchdown favorites at home against the Cardinals, total 45.5. Lions 7.5 point road favorites at the Commanders, total 50.5. Rams 3.5 point favorites at San Francisco, total 49.5. Sunday Night Football, Chargers 3 point favorites at home, total 45.5 to the Steelers. Then on Monday Night Football right now, Packers -2.5 favorites at home, total 44.5. Got any pick? Which picks are jumping out at you here? What do you got?
All right, the first one I'm going to jump on right now. I'm taking the 2.5 with the Eagles. I think they win the game outright. I think they're the better team. They are coming off the bye, like we mentioned earlier in the show, and they have a recent history of beating the Packers. And like I mentioned with the tush push stuff, I don't think that's the type of thing they let go of easily and just forget, and bygones are bygones. I think this is a team that I know it's tough to run up the score on another NFL team, but I think I don't think a team like the Eagles needs a whole lot of extra motivation, but I think that certainly could serve as extra motivation for them. So I will take the 2.5 with Philly, and I expect them to win the game outright.
So I'm going to tell you there, but I'm just going to take them on the money line at +120. I think they win the game. I don't think they need the 2.5 points. I think, I understand we mentioned earlier that Green Bay plays up and down to their opponents, but I think Philly's a very strong team. They're coming off the bye. I think this is a big spot for the Eagles to maybe establish a little bit of a separation and get a good conference win there, because they're going to need it when they're coming down to the Rams and the Seahawks of the world for positioning. So that'll be my first pick there. We're both on that Monday night game. What is your second pick?
I'm going to lay the 3 points with the Chargers at home, Sunday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still don't think the Pittsburgh defense is very good, and they got to travel cross country. It's a primetime spot. They're coming off a big win against the Colts. Now you're going to LA. Now there will be more Steeler fans there than Charger fans. That's just the way it is. Steeler fans travel, and the Chargers don't have fans, so it kind of is what it is there. But I think Herbert carves up that Steelers secondary. I mean, we saw what Joe Burrow did to him. Joe Flacco did to him a few weeks ago. I would expect something similar this week. So I will gladly lay the 3 points there. I think the Chargers win by a touchdown.
My next pick here, I'm going to lay the points with the Bills. I know 9.5 is a decent sized number, but I think they tee off on Miami. I think they had a a real good, tough victory against the Chiefs where they, there were stretches where they looked like the much better team. But then KC's just hung around and did their thing. But I think this is an excellent tee-off spot for the Bills on the road to play a convincing victory out there. And at this point, Miami's they're going through the motions at this point. So, we'll see. Maybe they'll get up and have a little bit of a fight for Buffalo, but I think they can win by 10. I have no problem with that. What is your final pick?
I hate that I'm backing this team because I think they're as fraudulent gets. I'm going to lay the 5.5 points with the Indianapolis Colts at home against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta is just so inconsistent week to week. I know they're coming off the bye as well.
Our game's in Germany. So just so you know.
The game is in Germany, so that does have to be factored in. But I feel like Jonathan Taylor is going to run all over that Falcons defense, and I feel like, you're asking me which quarterback I trust right now between Daniel Jones and Michael Penix. I'm going to take Daniel Jones. Like, it just kind of is what it is there. So, I'm going to lay the. I said the Falcons are coming off the bye. They're not coming off a bye, right? They played some.
No, they played. They lost to the Patriots yesterday, 24-23.
That's right.
Extra point. So could have gone differently. They gave the Patriots a battle.
Yeah. A little erroneous there, but I will lay the 5.5 with the Colts. I think they win by a touchdown.
Now you're going to help me decide for my last pick here because I'm torn between two. The Jaguars getting a 1.5 at Houston. CJ Stroud's concussion looked legitimate. I don't see him coming back this week. I know the Texans have a good defense, but Jacksonville is kind of on the periphery as they probably won't challenge the Colts for the division, but they could be a wild card team. I don't know. I feel like this is a spot where maybe it's a close game, but I'll take the 1.5. Or I like the Giants getting 3.5 at Chicago because to me, this is a typical Chicago letdown spot. Like this is like I'm not ready to buy that they're this really, really strong team yet. Maybe they're a playoff team, but I don't know. It's one of those gut feelings more than anything. But like I just feel like after everything that happened yesterday, they've got the Vikings coming up the week after that, so it's a little bit of a look ahead game there, and the Steelers after that, and the Eagles and the Packers after that. So I'm torn between the Giants getting 3.5 or the Jaguars with 1.5 here.
I agree with where you're thinking. The problem with the Giants is their defense cannot stop anybody right now. And I feel like the Bears are going to put up points on that defense. So, if your read on that is I don't think CJ Stroud's going to play. And I don't even know who the Texans backup quarterback is. I'd probably just take the 1.5 with the Jags.
It's Davis Mills.
It's still Davis Mills. I was going to guess either him or TJ Yates. So there you go.
So I you know what? I'm going to take the Jaguars as an official play, but I do like the Giants getting 3.5 there. I think they might be able to get that down to a field goal. But you're right. Let me go with the Jaguars. If CJ Stroud doesn't play, it's the Jaguars. Otherwise, it's the Giants. But that's that. Now, we had a lot of fun here. We talked a lot of NFL Week 9. We looked ahead to Week 10. We had a fun time with you today, ripping packs. Jared, what do you got coming up and all about the Jersey.com?
Devils got off to a bunch of slow starts this week, so I'm going to write this week about how they need to kind of nip that in the bud right now.
Yeah, that's not something you want lingering, but it's also good to have something to focus on, I guess, early in the season so you don't get too complacent. So there you go. Catch all his work at allaboutthejersey.com. Also, his awesome poker content at Jared Moore Poker. You can catch Total Hockey Now on Thursdays with myself at FuzzyChris91 and at Ant Rivera86. Looking at the Thursday night slate, talking fantasy, talking futures, all that good stuff. But that does it for this edition of Rip N Riff on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. Reach us at ripnriff@gmail.com. But for at Mr. Jared Moore, I'm at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. Back at you next Monday. All new episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel.